Hello, and welcome to Required Reading, the podcast that revisits the most impactful books from our childhood. I'm your host, Erin Bowles. I'm an actor, writer, and comedian. And our guest today is Hayley Hudson. Hayley is an adult woman living in Chicago with her beautiful cat, Daisy. She is known for her love of Paddington and having a small internet following in the early 2020s. Hi!
Hello. I'm so excited to be here.
Me too. Actually, I've decided to start asking a new question in the intro. What are you reading these days?
The current book I'm reading is Dune.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm in the Dune fever. I'm like 400 pages in or something. It's so good. I wish I would have read it sooner, but you know what? If Timothy Chalamet is the reason I read a book, there are worse things.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh man, I listened to the audiobook for Dune.
Ooh.
When was that? 2 months ago that the movie came out. It felt like a
Hmm.
different
I
world. But
know.
I listened to the first two audiobooks, and then I have the third one on hold. I've had it on hold for so long at the library. But I was so daunted going into it because I've heard like, oh, it's impossible and it's so hard, and
Hmm.
it was that like as long as I didn't listen to it sped up, which is how I listen to most of my audiobooks,
Yeah.
I could do it. I could do it.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun read. I think having the movies to kind of create a
Yes,
foundation really helped, and then it wasn't like too big of a task to get into.
absolutely. I agree 100%. Yeah, has always helped me have faces attached when I go into
Yes,
reading a book.
absolutely. Because I spend so much time like trying to like character build in my head, and then when they do make a movie eventually, I'm like, oh, well, I was wrong, I guess.
Yeah.
Like it's so wild how it can like completely change our vision. Like
Yeah.
for some reason, like in Twilight, I always pictured Alice looking completely different. And then when they cast Ashley Greene, I was like, oh my gosh, like I think I read this wrong. Like
Yeah.
maybe I did that.
Our book today is The Gruffalo by Julia Donaldson and illustrated by Axel Schleffler from 1999. It won an award that I had never heard about before, which is the Nestle Smarties Book Prize.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, which ran from 85 to 2007. Adorable. And a Blue Peter Book Award for Best Book to Read Aloud. I think that's nice.
That really does track. Yeah.
So, how did this book come into your life? What's your story with it?
That's actually such a good question that I should maybe like investigate, but it was just like a children's book that my parents had. I'm not even sure if like it was purchased for me or my older brothers or like where what they would have gotten it, but it was like one of my favorites. And anytime like my parents or my like mom would read it to me, I just like it stuck with me. Probably due to like the rhyming, but
Yeah.
it almost is like a magical where like I don't know where it came from, but that makes it even better.
I love that. And was it ever in your classroom? Like, did this come back in other ways?
It's funny, I never actually, it was one of those books where I'd like talk about it and my friends are like, what is that? Like I've never it where I was like, it's just something that only exists in my head or something. But then when they made it into like a movie or
Hmm.
something in like 2010, and then I was like, okay, it does exist. Like it's not just me. But as far as I know, it wasn't like a like widely received
Yeah.
book by any means.
I think that's definitely true, like growing up in the US, because I feel like I didn't recognize it when you sent me the name, and then I looked it up and I
Hmm.
was like, I've seen this animal before.
Yeah.
Like I've seen this illustration. But I know I hadn't read it, and I am almost positive it wasn't in any classrooms or anything, but the structure of it and like the sort of it feels like a very old-timey like fable. It feels like very
Hmm.
timeless and very sort of universal. And I was looking into it a little bit. It is like it's a trickster story, which I think are in cultures all over the world, and I think it's cool to see like one being started almost, you know?
Hmm. Yeah, it's like the Midwest genesis of it or something. The trickster just being like this cute little mouse, I think really adds to it because that like in other stories you don't really kind of expect that from the mouse. They're usually kind of typecast as like the meek character.
Yeah, and the whole book is about fear. And if you're not familiar with the Gruffalo, I think it's like 16 pages.
Yeah. Check it out.
Yeah, I know. You can find it for free on melland.manchester.sch.uk. I think it's from, it's just what I found when I did Gruffalo PDF, but I think it's from March of 2020. I don't know where I'm getting that, but I have decided that this is like a teacher scanned it for like COVID.
Oh, yeah.
And
that makes sense.
I think it's so cute. But the story is Mouse encounters 3 predators and says, I'm about to meet this Gruffalo, so don't mess with me. And the mouse keeps going, don't they know that's not real? Don't they know there's no such thing as a Gruffalo? And then the Gruffalo shows up. The mouse says, oh, heck, he's real. And then parades the Gruffalo through town past all of the predators and makes the Gruffalo believe that he is powerful because all of these predators are afraid of the mouse when actually they're afraid of the Gruffalo walking behind him. How did you kind of interpret the sort of the message of the book? What, like, how did that fit in your little psyche? Like, how do you think it shaped it?
Yeah, I guess it kind of makes you like rethink about your perspective or like where your standing is. It's all about how you can make others view you, or like kind of how you view yourself. You can project that outward. And it's, even if you're born a mouse, doesn't mean that's all you are.
Yeah. Yeah, subvert expectations. And I hadn't really seen this until you said it, but there is a degree of like clocking your internal biases, or at least the fact that your own perceptions are fallible. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just like a great kind of underdog story in a way. Just like the classic American tale. Yeah. Little like sprinkles of David and Goliath in there a little bit.
Absolutely. It's very Aesop's Fables. It's well, also, I didn't know this. There is a sequel book called The Gruffalo's Child.
I learned that today too. I was like doing some research. I was like, oh my God, the Gruffalo didn't tell me it was pregnant. Like, this is wild.
That's so true. Oh my gosh.
I was not invited to the baby shower.
Having a Gruffalo child creates so many questions about the greater Gruffalo world.
Yeah, really. I choose to believe that they spawn like asexually, like gremlins. Like the Gruffalo accidentally got wet one day, and that's how the baby came to be.
Because the Gruffalo feels very genderless, and I think that's good.
Yeah, absolutely.
They transcend gender. Thank gosh, there is no gender in the Gruffalo world. I feel like I expected, obviously, like, of course, there's the cute little turn at the end where the Gruffalo appears and we take him out, but I wanted so much more of the Gruffalo. What's up with him?
Absolutely.
Them.
Yeah. It was such a M. Night Shyamalan twist, kind of. Just really, they're like, oh, you thought this was a normal children's book? Like, nope, this monster is real. And yeah, it is kind of fun that we just get like hints of the Gruffalo, but at the end we kind of figure out like the Gruffalo is as susceptible to like any of these kind of superstitions as the rest of the animals in the forest. So it kind of levels the playing field a little bit. But yeah, I would like to know like the origins of whatever animal that is.
Yeah. I like what you said though about like leveling the playing field, because I think like, yeah, he gets tricked just like everybody else. So I think I worry sometimes that I extrapolate way too much and putting like a lot behind these things, but it is just like expect the unexpected. Also, people in power who like have power, whether it's like physical or conceptual, can be tricked, can be taken down. You know, it's okay to overthrow the government. That's too much.
No, I totally agree. It's like the power that we give to some of the systems can be like symbolic, and they're actually like there's nothing behind it. We could easily like dismantle those just with our rhymes and different animal recipes like scrambled snake.
Owl ice cream. I think Axel Scheffler did so much. Like, I don't know if this book would succeed without those specific illustrations because
Hmm.
it's so emotive. You look at the Gruffalo, and I would never be scared, which sounds like I'm bragging or something, but he's
Yeah.
just looks so cute. You want to like squish the belly. It's,
Yeah, you feel like you could have a good conversation with the Gruffalo, like definitely can hang kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like because leading up to, the big reveal that he's real, they have these like zoom in circles of different fearsome appendages that the Gruffalo has. And then when you see them all together, you're sort of like, oh, dude, like you feel like you're chuckling almost. Like there's something so almost like a pug to it. I'm like, oh, come on,
Absolutely.
you got me.
Yeah, it's almost like the mystery of him and like the hints that we were given were that was more of the fear than anything than the actual Gruffalo itself,
Yeah.
which, the mouse really took that and like turned it on its head and used that against all of those critters that were trying to eat him.
I feel like mice are the center of a lot of children's literature, or
Hmm.
bare minimum are present. And I don't know what that is, but I know that I wrote a short story when I was young that was also about a mouse.
Oh, what did it involve?
Oh,
Just
I have
similar
no
characteristics.
idea.
Yeah.
There was a mouse and a lion, and I think the ending was friendship or something.
That's beautiful. We didn't really get that in the Gruffalo because it's not like friendship. I think the Gruffalo truly is just like never is avoiding the mouse's part of town now.
Yeah.
Kind of
Poor guy.
impressive. Yeah, I know. He's just checking out the area and now he's like terrified.
Yeah, he seems like an interloper. He seems like Bigfoot, like he's just passing
Totally.
through. Lives a solitary life, like you said, asexual reproduction.
Yeah, just like a really niche cryptid that now we'll never know more about because a mouse had to go and scare
I
him off.
know. And now he can't eat, so he's gonna die.
Yeah. How is he gonna feed his kid?
Oh my gosh. The kid will have to be raised by wolves.
That would be like a great sequel if the owl, the snake, and was it like what was the third animal? Oh
Fox?
yeah, the fox. If they got together with the Gruffalo and like kind of figured out the conspiracy, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh, this mouse has been playing us the whole time. Like how would that go?
You started naming the predators, and I was like, yeah, the Gruffalo dies, but has a child. And then 3 men and a baby, the
Oh my
predators
God.
raise the Gruffalo.
That would be beautiful.
I watched a tiny bit of the short film.
Mhm.
It's only 30 minutes, but was nominated for an Oscar. Did that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
Did you ever interact with that movie? Like, I think it came out, like you said, like 2010, maybe?
Yeah, I specifically remember, I think I was in like high school at the time, but like my mom saw that it was on TV and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I recorded this for you because I know like we used to love that book when you were younger." So yeah, I did watch it. It's funny, I was like looking it up and it has like a 79% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm like, "Damn, okay."
Yeah.
But it
And
felt pretty true to the book from what I
yeah.
remember.
I just saw one scene that was the three predators conferring and
Mm.
having some kind of plot or something. But it looked gorgeous. It was very storybook, but also very three-dimensional. Just gorgeous.
Wow, Oscar nominated. That's so beautiful. I'm so happy for the Gruffalo.
Yeah, he just looks so fun. I'm sort of surprised that there is only a short film. Like, I would have
Hmm.
absolutely, even not having read the book, I like can imagine a very long running like PBS animated show about him.
Right. Yeah. Like the Tumblr fandoms that could have been, they'd be like Hulakians for Gruffalo. I would kill to see that.
I did want to ask, like, did you ever dress up for as the Gruffalo for Halloween? Did you have stuffed animals? Did you have art?
Oh my gosh, no, I did not. That honestly, that feels like something I would do now in in my 20s.
If you got some time,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, you know what? I'm gonna put that on my list of plush to crochet because that would be so sick to have like a personalized Gruffalo.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah,
You
it kind of just like
must.
begets like merchandise and like the art is so cute.
Hmm.
That would be lovely. Thanks for that idea.
Yeah, you could do the whole book
Honestly,
in crochet.
I'll look into that.
Oh my gosh, now I'm planning something. I don't know. It's so I love it. I love the sort of like very basic colors. I did a little research and it she says it's inspired by a Chinese folktale called The Fox That Borrows the Terror of a Tiger, which
Ooh.
shifted animals. And I think she wanted to originally use a tiger, and then it was something like that doesn't rhyme with a lot of stuff, which I always
Mm,
love.
yeah. Yeah, the rhyme scheme throughout is so good. It's such a fun book to read because you can really just like get into the rhythm right
Hmm.
away. I would love to see it. Yeah, like honestly, like a little finger puppet play of
Oh
the
my
Gruffalo would be so good. That I can
Yeah,
imagine that'd be great, like very engaging for a young audience or like a 28-year-old like
I
me.
know. As you're saying it, I'm discovering how like specifically I think good it is for a picture book to be holding a baby and going through these things. And there's like the rhyme is so good. There's like repeated phrases. It has that like rhythm that on Wikipedia they said the name of it, but I could not tell you what it is. Dactylic tetrameter, of
Oh, yep.
course, as we all know. But I think like and you can do all these like voices because the characters are so stark, that I
Hmm.
think like what a beautiful moment to give to families that
Yeah,
like are just adorable.
there's a lot of theatricality to it that like maybe other books necessarily didn't. So that's
Mhm.
kind of why it really stuck with me because I can still like to this day can probably recite like half the book and like I hear it in my head with that like a metronome going off
Mhm.
because I like it's very strict with the rhyme scheme, which I think is beautiful.
Yeah.
And also I kind of was just like thinking of like maybe
Yeah.
what connected me to like still think of the Gruffalo and like I'm a huge horror movie fan now
Oh.
and I wonder if that kind of was like the start of it, you know, to see like a creature presented in some kind of storybook way that was like frightening but still had a message to it and like had a solid plot. I think like maybe that's because I love gremlins and things along that like freaky little guys.
Yeah.
I think that that definitely could have played a part. And yeah, just like thinking of the horror implications for this kind of book is fun because I mean they are talking about cooking and eating the animals so that there's some like adult themes being discussed, you know?
The stakes are high. Yeah.
Yeah,
I love
yeah.
that you say that though, because it does. It has like really basic elements of a good horror, of like keeping a
Hmm.
lot hidden beforehand. Like, really, there's a great buildup of tension. It's damn for little guys. Hell yeah.
Like an Ari Aster Gruffalo could probably be like the next Midsummer.
Oh my God.
I'll
Yeah.
contact his team.
Because you say that, and I am like, yeah, you just start with like the bear from Midsummer and go crazy. Wow. Yeah, and you could shoot this in any old forest. I don't know. I love the little woods. It feels somehow very
Hmm.
universal to me. Their little
Hmm.
woods.
Yeah, it's kind of like the hoodwinked story of it all, where you're like, I've been here before. A familiar setting, but then a little twist of a story to kind of keep you on your toes.
He just looks so funny. Always gets a giggle out of me.
Yeah. And even just like the final scene where
Hmm.
he's peaceful. He's not worrying about being killed for once. Like the entire book, it's him just being like, please don't eat me, but like
Yeah.
being really cool about it so that the animals don't get the ick. And then and then he finally gets some peace and finds an acorn and he just sits down on a little stump and just enjoys it. And it's such a beautiful like final scene. Like
Yeah.
the illustration I love. It's so nice.
I'm
Just
looking
kind of
at it
wrap it
right
up.
now. Yeah. The last couplet, all was quiet in the deep dark wood. The mouse found a nut, and the nut was good.
Yeah, it just kind of warms your heart a little bit. You're like, okay, wow. Like we had a lot of ups and downs, like that was tumultuous, but at the end of the day, he got his little snack he was looking
Yeah.
for. And
Yeah,
sometimes
and
that's all you need.
the opening couplet is a mouse took a stroll through the deep dark wood. A fox saw the mouse, and the mouse looked good. Which
Yeah,
is
really coming full circle there.
yeah. And they repeat the phrase, and the mouse looked good, and the mouse looked good.
Hmm. Yeah, kind of made me want to try mouse. Just kidding.
I mean, well, children's literature would have you think that they are simply everywhere.
That's true.
And I don't know that I have found that to be true in my life, but everyone's different, you know?
I've encountered a lot of mice in my life. They all looked fine.
Yeah.
Not good.
I think I've encountered several, I think maybe in my mind more rats than mice, but the other day I was just crossing my street and saw a tiny little mouse and just kind of like there was no traffic. I just kind of wandered and followed him. It was a really nice
That's so cute.
10 minutes. Yeah. I recommend going on a walk with a mouse. Yeah.
Dang, I'll look out for that. Yeah. Unfortunately, Chicago is kind of rat city, so I might have to tamper my expectations.
Oh man, I understand. I'm I can never not be an LA girl just because the sheer number of butterflies that I see every
Oh,
day is pure magic.
wow. I can't say the same. There's like
And
one like regular butterfly I see on my street. He's like, like the regular at the bar, but
yeah,
that's all I have.
because I have butterfly regulars too.
That's so cute.
It's so fun, especially like if I'm walking past this house, there will be a butterfly, you know?
Oh, wow. That is some like storybook magic right there.
They had this when I lived in Savannah, Georgia, but also here, little lizards everywhere.
My gosh. I think that would be fun to kind of take the Gruffalo story and like retrofit it to whatever city you're living in. So,
Yeah.
you have like a little lizard trying not to get eaten. And he talks about like, I don't know, a car or a bus or something that's like, I don't know, the scariest thing in LA.
And
Influencers, I don't know.
cars, cars. I
Hmm.
mean, if there's one thing people want to say about LA, it is cars, and they're not wrong.
Hmm.
We do have
Yeah,
those.
it's a very adaptable story that could really thrive in any environment.
Yeah, a beautiful story to fall asleep to. I love that.
Hmm.
I love how worn his knees and like calloused his knees
Yeah.
are. I
Yeah, he's
don't
been
know.
through it.
Yeah, implies a lot of backstory,
Hmm.
honestly.
Yeah, which I think is like so nice that the Gruffalo is so well thought out, even though like it's technically the main character and everything, but kind of just like a side like more of a motif than an actual like character, and they still put a lot of time and attention to creating this creature.
I love that. He really is a motif. Character is motif.
Yeah, I would love to see how they kind of flourish that character in the sequel. I'm gonna have to find the PDF of that after this.
Yeah. I thought I had it open. I hear The Gruffalo's Child, which I think also became an animated film.
Oh wow. They've got like an animated universe at this
I know.
point.
It was shown on Christmas Day in 2011 in the UK. Adorable.
That tracks the UK.
Wow, and it's the Gruffalo warning his daughter
He's
about.
a girl dad.
Yeah. And he would be, wouldn't he?
He really would. That's so funny. I just know he has a hat that says girl dad.
And when you crochet him, you can make him that hat.
Oh my God, you're so right. Oh, wow. That's incredible.
I've never had merch before, but maybe I'll make.
Gruffalo girl dad.
Yeah, good baseball cap. And I think in the Gruffalo's Child, he is warning her about the big bad mouse.
Oh, wait, that's so smart.
Julia goes crazy with it, it seems like.
Jeez. Yeah, I really appreciate her dedication to like creating this original character and then just kind of making a whole world.
Yeah.
I was like looking on the author's website and like they still, because it's apparently the 25th anniversary of the book.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And they're still like having events and stuff. There's like stuff coming up, but I'm like trying to see if there's anything in my city
Oh
so I
my
could be like
gosh.
the oldest person at the event that's not a parent at least.
You must. You simply
Yeah,
must.
I'll see what I can do.
I bet she loves it also. She might have written her own Wikipedia page because it is very detailed.
We love
Um,
to see it. Oh, is she English?
yes.
Oh, That might have something to do with the fact, like, um, my parents are both immigrants from South Africa, and like it's possible that they got this book from a family member or something because
Yeah.
we have family living in England, and that would explain why like none of my friends knew it. Everything's coming full circle now,
Cracked the case. Amazing.
but hopefully I can spread it to the States for
Oh,
the
yeah.
25th year.
Oh, yeah. Just make a costume and wander around Chicago and
Yeah.
spread the good word. Yeah.
I'll just like stand out on the street corner. Like, have you heard of the Gruffalo? Are you ready to accept the Gruffalo into your life?
You could like reenact the whole book on the street if you needed to. Of they could be like, "What's a Gruffalo?" And you go, "Well, he has knobbly knees and terrible teeth."
Yeah.
Well,
Have like a Gruffalo look-alike contest or something. Just really get people
yeah,
into it. That's a good idea. Maybe I'll reach out to Second City, see if they have any openings. One woman show,
yeah.
but for Gruffalos.
They've done crazier shit. Yeah.
That's true. But possibilities are endless, clearly.
How did it compare to like what you remembered of it? How have you revisited it like at any time since you were a kid?
It's one of those things that I think about every now and then. And like I think when I was at my parents' place a year or two back, I was looking through some of my favorite children's books because I was looking for tattoo inspiration. And I
Nice.
came across that and it was like, would never get a tattoo of the Gruffalo. It's too ugly. But
Yeah,
like, what a good book. Like, actually, you know what? A tattoo of like the final scene with just the mouse sitting
oh,
peacefully, that would be really cute. But
that would.
yeah, it's one of those things I think of every now and then because I'll have that rhyme pattern stuck in my head. Like the mouse was good.
The
So it
mouse was
definitely
good.
like has its legacy. And my parents still have the book. I should probably just ask them to give it to me at this point. It's probably time.
Yeah. How do you feel having come off the experience of like sitting down and rereading it now?
At peace.
Oh,
And that I know I still have good taste. It
true.
wasn't, when you go back to things as a kid, like you liked as a kid and you're like, oh, this is awful. Like
Yeah.
I just liked it because it was, like bright and loud, but this has some standing power. And yeah, it's like such a heartwarming story. And I was like, okay, well, I'm glad that I had the opportunity for like my mom to read this to me as a kid a lot. Like
Yeah.
that feels very special.
Did you tell your mom you reread it?
I should tell her. I was gonna call her today, so I'll have to let her
Oh,
know. She'll be like, "Oh my gosh, the Gruffalo!" I know
yeah.
she remembers that for a fact, so she'll be thrilled, I'm sure.
That's so nice. Would you consider it required reading?
Absolutely, for
It's so
everyone.
cute. Yeah. For 10 minutes of your day.
Exactly.
Yeah,
What a joyous 10 minutes.
absolutely. And yeah, like you said, like very peaceful. You do finish it and you're like,
Hmm.
"Ah, I'm ready for whatever's next. Recess?"
Exactly. Yeah. Don't talk to me until I've had my morning Gruffalo.
Yeah, instead of meditation,
Yeah.
absolutely. There's so many worse things you could do.
Exactly.
Is there anything you'd like to plug as we round out?
Not really. I may have a podcast in the future, but it's tentative at this point,
Okay.
so I don't want to plug anything prematurely, but
All good. If and when that changes, let me know. We'll plug it.
yes.
We will.
It'll be on my Twitter at least
Good.
at 2 Saddington.
Nice. There you go.
Thanks so much to Haley. It is a Monday morning. I am sleepy, fellas. Next week, we're doing another Dealer's Choice episode. Carly O'Brien is coming back to discuss Johnny Tremaine, which is a book that I read in 5th grade and hated. And it's a really interesting discussion of the American Revolution and how we teach history in American schools. You can find me everywhere at Aaron R. Bowles. The R stands for rambunctious, as in my kitten will not stop scaling the window screens, and I'm afraid she's gonna fall through.